It's the Queen stage, and it's stage 4 of the 9th edition of the CRO Race from Kirk to Labin, 160.5 kilometres, 3,100 metres of elevation. This is where we're going from, the island of Kirk. We'll make our way onto the mainland, we head into Istria, and it's the famous finish in Labin, the cobbled hilltop finish. This was the sign-on earlier on today. There's Jaco Alula. Team DSM Firmenich posted. Now there was Warren Barguil, he's right up there in the general classification, and of course they've got one rider, Tobias Lund, who is in the best young rider classification. He's wearing the white jersey. Here's the local rider, Miholjevic of Bahrain Victorious. All the local dignitaries getting ready to cut the tape to officially welcome stage 4 to Kirk. Well, they rolled out and it was a long neutralised section, over 12 kilometres of neutralised before they'll officially get themselves underway. But it's great to see so many people who are out. There is Tobias Lund, the Danish rider, just sharing a word with Leknesund. Bora Hansgrohe on the far left side. This is going to be a very interesting stage because the weather conditions are quite mixed. We start off and it's dry, it's pretty pleasant, but it is forecast to rain around halfway through the stage. This is the stage itself. We start in Kirk at the south of the island, we make our way north across the bridge onto the mainland, and we travel through Vyshkovo. That's where our second intermediate sprint is. Poklon, our first all category King of the Mountain. Then we drop down into Nedashina and into Labin, where they'll take on one lap. They'll enter that lap with 13 kilometres to go. But for now, while the flag is waved, it's officially underway, and Metek Solar Watt, powered by Mental, they're the first team who've decided that they want to try and get themselves into a move. In the green jersey, that's the leader in the King of the Mountains competition, Axel van der Tuk, who's trying to bridge across to his teammates. So he's got Tim Marsman, by the way, celebrating his birthday today, so very many happy returns to him. One rider from the Mazowski Sergi Polski team is bridged across, as has one of the riders from Uno X Mobility. Well, the peloton behind, they're pretty satisfied with this situation. These 5 riders, also there is Jakob Eriksson, the Swedish road race champion for Tudor Pro Cycling. One rider who's trying to get himself back in. General classification, the squad of UAE Team Emirates and Brandon McNulty, they're pretty satisfied. The fact that no one's a big threat to the GC, they can be quite satisfied, quite happy with how things are going so far. There's the results of the intermediate sprint. Well, we've had a change in the standings. Ryan Mullen takes the 5, Stannard with the 3, Marsman taking the 1. We've got a new breakaway situation into Malinska. It's the 30-year-old Irishman who's taken the 5 points and the 3 bonus seconds. 2 bonus seconds to Stannard, and Marsman takes the 1 bonus second. A couple of riders in the convoy trying to come back. Some have dropped back to the convoy, to their team cars, to take on some new clothes, discard of all the wet clothing. The peloton passed through Malinska, through that intermediate sprint. Well, this is the situation on the road. Marsman is there in that blue jersey with the fluorescent bike. Just behind him is Andreas Leknesund in the red jersey for Uno X Mobility. That's the Norwegian who's held the Maglia Rosa in the Giro d'Italia before. Rob Stannard in the white, just in the blue jersey, that's Ryan Mullen. And right at the back of this group is Ansar, the Spanish rider in the green jersey. They go through that intermediate sprint. It's Marsman who takes the 5 and the 3 bonus seconds. Leknesund with the 3 and the 2 bonus seconds, with Stannard taking the 1 and the 1 bonus second there. He's taken 3 bonus seconds today in total, Rob Stannard, and he moves himself up in the general classification. He came into the day on 1 minute 26. He's now 1:23, but because of the advantage he has in his breakaways. We see the weather conditions, 14 degrees, 11 kilometres per hour is the wind. Because of his advantage in the breakaway, he's actually the virtual leader in the general classification. And so soon, this is going to start to be a huge threat for the squad of UAE Team Emirates. They'll know that they need to start to work to bring them back, because Bahrain Victorious, well, they're not going to work. They're very, very happy and satisfied with the situation. It means that their big leaders can sit back, rest on the laurels. Fred Wright, Zambanini. Well, we're heading into the next 3 quarters of Poklon, this all-categorised climb. Particularly once they get to 4.5 kilometres to go, that's where the climb is at its most difficult. It's got gradients of, at an average, 8%. Maximum gradients on this climb are 14%. There's the 20-year-old Spanish rider Hugo Aznar from Equipo Kern Pharma. Ryan Mullen and Tim Marsman have been distanced. It was Leknessem who did that as they get towards the top of this all-categorised climb. Rob Stannard goes across. He takes the 20 points in the King of the Mountains competition. 15 points go to Andreas Leknessem, with Aznar taking the 10. Well, what was the peloton has really started to whittle down. Coming across the line, Warren Bilgiel is there, as is Zambanini. Frederick Wandal from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. There is the red jersey leader of Brandon McNulty. Right at the back here is Filippo Ganna, who has clawed his way back on. You can just see with the black jersey on, the rider from Ineos, number 21. Just in front of him, this is the Italian rider, Mattia Baez, number 111. Well, there we get confirmation. Rob Stannard takes the 20, Leknessem with the 15, Aznar taking the 10. Axel van der Tuck still remains as the leader in the King of the Mountains competition. He came into the day with 26 points. We come down the descent and there's been a crash. One rider down, and that's Filippo Ganna of the Ineos Grenadiers from the chasing group. Why, he came down hard there, didn't he? He gets up quickly, and now he realises the pain. That was a heavy fall. What on earth happened there for the Italian? He's got 2 team personnel who are there with him. Here's the replay of that crash. On the outside in the white jersey, it's Igor Ariata, who just goes, oh, what a hard crash for Ganna. Ariata, on the left-hand side, starts to turn right to make it round this corner, takes the front wheel out from Filippo Ganna. Ganna quickly back on his feet before then realising the pain that he is indeed in. Oh, that looks painful. Well, fortunately, we see him back on his feet, but I fear that this could be Filippo Ganna abandoning the CRO Race. What a huge shame. The fact he's got himself into that front group behind, more teammates have got themselves back into contention. Turner's back, as is Hajduk, as is Michael Leonard, the Canadian. Look at this, they're absolutely roaring through this bottom part of the descent. Still 2 riders out front, Rob Stannard and Andreas Leknessem. Igor Ariata is the rider who's doing the work on the front. Brandon McNulty's there. A couple of riders from DSM Firmenich Postenel. A rider from Jayco and Lula, as well as Frederick Wandal from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Stannard is doing a bulk load of the work here in this group. They both take on some nutrition. Another 10 or so riders are trying to bridge across to the chasing group, which we can now call the peloton. 3 riders are there for Bahrain Victorious. Well, these two, they've been out front for a long, long time. 23.4 kilometres to go. Only 3.4 kilometres to go until they get to the third and final intermediate sprint of the day, but it's whether they're going to be able to hang on at this point. At the back of the group, this is Jelle Johanning of TDT Unibet. Number 72, that was Hugo Ansnar, who's been in the breakaway throughout the day. Alongside that man, 183, Tim Marsman. 2-6, that's Aivaras Mikitis. It's the Lithuanian rider who's on a stagiaire contract with Tudor Pro Cycling. Still Igor Adiata who's on the front, trying to bring this duo back for Brandon McNulty. Miholovic in the white jersey just behind the young Spanish rider. Pablo Castrillo up towards the front, he discards of his bottles, takes another one. Well, it's all back together. Rob Stannard and Andreas Leknesund, it was a valiant effort. 900 metres to go until they'll get to the third and final intermediate sprint of the day. That comes Agneta Sheena. Don't forget these bonus seconds, 3, 2 and 1 bonus seconds. The fact that it's all back together as Oscar Onley commits himself on the front for Team DSM Firmenich Postinel. There is Lund. Well, they start to go on the right-hand side. Down the centre in the white jersey, Fred Wright is trying to challenge, as is Budzinski from Mazowski Sergi Polski. Team DSM Firmenich with 2 riders as Warren Barguil is up towards the front. Wright starts to get himself boxed in there on the right-hand side, goes Foldager. Budzinski tries to follow. Ben Turner's trying to get in the mix, as is Warren Barguil, but he's washed away. Fred Wright's got the advantage. Where is the line? He comes up to the intermediate sprint. Fred Wright takes the 5 points and the 3 bonus seconds. Looked as though Marcin Budzinski was there, and Turner came through to take those points away from Foldager. He says, thanks very much. Gap opening up thanks to that intermediate sprint, and Wright just tries to recover. Bit of an acceleration from Ben Turner on the right hand side. Wandal immediately reacts. Fred Wright doesn't put any injection of pace. Nulty there. These are the situations where you've got to be really, really careful after an intermediate sprint, because it's almost could have a split. 17.6 kilometres to go. There's the points classification as it currently stands. Lenardi still leads, 40 points to McNulty's 35. Frank van der Broek, the rider who took a second place on the opening stage of the Tour de France this year. The yellow jersey in the stage reacher going to his teammate Romain Bardet. What a performance it was in his Grand Tour de France debut. 12.5 kilometres to go. We're onto the lap. We're onto the opening part of the lap. They'll make a right turn with 350 metres to go. That's when they'll start to go up the cobble climb up towards the finish, and then they'll have 11.5 kilometres remaining. We go under what will be the Flamme Rouge in 11.5 kilometres time. The size of that group, only around 28, 29 riders remain. Part of that group, you've got David Dela Cruz, you've got Pierre-Andre Cote, Robin Freudevo, Frederick Vesnes, Odd Christian Eiking is there, Sean Flynn, Oscar Onley, Warren Barguil, Tobias Lund, Michael Leonard and Kim Hajduk. Fernando Barthelo is there, as is Pablo Castrillo. Injection of pace as they go around this right-hand bend down to the roundabout. This is Alex Hayek, the 21-year-old Austrian champion from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Austrian climber gets a little advantage. Team DSM Firmenich Postinel, they don't make any big reactions. Just keep it all steady. Onto the cobble climb. Stannard's still there. Johannik is too, as well as Mikitis. Don't forget, this is a King of the Mountain. 3, 2 and 1 points. It's a third categorised climb. But look at this rider come. Santix Fibertech have sent one rider in the chase of Alexander Hayek. Who is that be? That would be Michał Perluta, the Polish rider, who, if he can get there, he's got a couple of bike lengths to make up to Hayek. Will he get there in time, and will he come through and take the 3 points in that King of the Mountains competition? Well, he comes alongside him. David de la Cruz on the front of the peloton behind, but Paluta, what a performance. He comes through, he's got a little bit of daylight. He looks set to try and take these 3 points. David de la Cruz with Brennan McNulty on the wheel. Van Daal is there. Paluta takes the 3, Hayek with the 2, with David de la Cruz taking the 1 point. A couple of riders starting to find themselves in difficulty. The 29-year-old Polish rider takes a flyer off the front. All back together, and now with 10 kilometres to go, Ben Turner goes. The man from Doncaster of the Ineos Grenadiers puts in a huge effort to try and get away from this peloton. Immediately, Zampanini reacts. Keeps looking around, trying to come through is Pablo Castrillo in that green jersey. Zampanini in front of Turner. Turner puts in another big injection. Takes it gingerly on this wet section of road. Zampanini, the 23-year-old Italian. Zampanini feels like he's in the grey here. He doesn't quite know whether to try and close the gap to Ben Turner, or whether to try and wait for Fred Wright and try and help the former British road race champion. He keeps looking around, and right now he's seeing Ben Turner go up the road. Ben Turner, who's had 1 professional victory in his career, the 25-year-old, was a prolific winner in junior categories and under 23 categories in cyclocross. Turned professional back in 2022. You can't underestimate the power of Turner. Well, look at this, 6.2 kilometres to go. The advantage for Turner is 10 seconds, and whilst they're working now, there's no real constant cohesion, there's no constant chase behind. All it takes is for him to have just over 10 seconds, and for everybody start to look at each other, start to play games, look around, look at each other. Nobody really wanting to come in, and it really plays into the hands of Turner here. At the back, 45, that's Oscar Onley. He's had success on this stage 2 years ago behind Jonas Vingegaard, who won the Queen stage.
Come up close now.
12 months ago, it was Matti Mohoric who won the Queen stage here in Labin. There's certain teams with strength in numbers. Team DSM Firmenich PostNL have got strength in numbers, as have Bahrain Victorious. Oh, this is hurting Turner. He's got a slender advantage. Igor Arriata, the 21-year-old Spanish rider's on the front for Brandon McNulty. Right on the wheel. He's one of the riders from Team DSM Firmenich PostNL. Van Daal is always well positioned. There is Robin Freudevo in the black jersey, number 123. Fernando Barthelo is there, number 3 for Caja Seguros RGA. They're all relying on the fact that DSM Firmenich PostNL are now committing themselves . 3.1 kilometres to go. Turner looks over his left shoulder, keeps himself in that aero position, tracks the shortest line round on the right-hand side of the road. The chasing group behind go through 3 kilometres to go. Arriata throws his bottle to a fan. There is Pierre-André Cote, number 85 in the navy blue jersey. Now they start to inject some pace behind. Matteo Baez is there, as is Mirko Maestri for Ponte Commenta. Number 42, that's Warren Barguil. Number 195, you can see. That is Michał and Peter Pekula. Don't forget, Michał Paluta was up there too. now it starts to all come back together. 1.9 kilometers to go. Bahrain victorious make the junction. It's Fran Mihaljevic, the Croatian rider on Bahrain, who closes the gap. Turner's caught. Take the shortest line round, out to the roundabout. Hook the right-hand side of the road. Mihaljevic, well, his job is done. Leaves it over to Fred Wright and Edoardo Zambanini. Johanning is starting to move forwards in that blue jersey from TDT Unibet on the right side. Frank van den Broek is the rider who is keeping things all controlled for Lund. There's on Christian Eiking, number 133. Got his teammate there with him, that's Frederick Vesnes. David Dela Cruz still there for Q36.5. Deceptive, this part of the course. McNulty just keeps a high cadence. He's in the big ring, but right towards the top of the block, keeps the legs spinning round. Still there is Jose Felix Parra in the dark green jersey. 1.1 kilometers remain. Under the Flamme Rouge. It's the Ineos Grenadiers who are in the control right now. Michael Leonard, who's on the front, the 20-year-old Canadian. Kim Hajduk on the wheel. This kind of climb, as they're into the final kilometre, is a climb where you can't go early. If you commit yourself too early, you could just completely capitulate. You have nothing left. You're not able to do anything at all. Don't forget, you've got the cobbles as well. It just absolutely saps the energy out of the legs. Hayek on the front, the Austrian champion, followed by rider from the Ineos Grenadiers, starting to move forward. This is Mattia Baez and Mirko Maestri. Now one of the riders from Uno-X Mobility starts to make his move in that red jersey. Starts to get a little gap and they immediately close it down. Brandon McNulty sitting in third wheel in the red jersey as the two riders in the white jersey from Bahrain victorious almost collide, and Zambanini and Fred Wright who almost come together. They make the right turn onto the cobbles. Now starting to stretch and strive forward. This is on Christian Eiking in the red jersey now on the front. That's yesterday's stage winner Brandon McNulty, the man from Phoenix, Arizona. Eduardo Zambanini, he reacts. 300 meters to go. Fred Wright takes a look over the right-hand shoulder. He's got the space to maneuver. Frederik Guandal, the Danish rider from Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, started to lose the wheel a little bit. Fred Wright, well, he comes from a superb track background and he's got the turn of speed. Now he's got a couple of bike lengths, but what's it going to be and who is going to close the gap? Because now Brandon McNulty started to fade. Zambanini puts in another big acceleration. Right now it's a 1-2-4, Bahrain victorious. In the white jersey coming across, Tobias Lund, the Dane from Team DSM Firmenich Postinel. Can he get there and will he run out of time, or is he going to try and get around Zambanini? Look at the speed, like a rocket being launched. Tobias Lund gets through the duo from Bahrain victorious, and he is the winner of the Queen stage. Tobias Lund, from being dropped on the climb to being paced back on by his teammates, they all had belief, and he takes the victory into Labin. Tobias Lund, what a performance. His 6th professional win. He denies Zambanini's first ever pro win. The experienced Frenchman, Warren Barguil, congratulates the apprentice. Well, he went early, Brandon McNulty. He ended up capitulating, but Tobias Lund, he takes his 6th pro win. And in some style, for a rider who can be up there in bunch sprints with a big climb today in Poklon. He managed it well. Champagne showers, and for this man, well, he retains the general classification in the red jersey. He continues to lead after stage 4. Brandon McNulty, well, after that performance, he now takes the lead in the blue points competition. He takes the jersey off Giovanni Lunardi. Well, this man, what a stellar performance he's having throughout the CRO Race. He continues to lead the King of the Mountains competition after stage 4. Axel van der Tuk, Ralph McCabb, Tobias Lund.
Congratulations once again.
Continues to lead. The white jersey is the best young rider.
Tobias će braniti svoju bijelu majicu.
Well, that's what the jerseys look like and who's wearing them. Nolte in red and blue with Van der Tuk in green, Lund in white. Andreasen wins the stage ahead of Zambanini. Odd Christian Eiking takes third with Wright in fourth, Castrillo in fifth. Well, that was the Queen stage. Now the big fight for the general classification continues for stages 5 and 6. For myself, Hannah Walker, we'll see you tomorrow for stage 5.